Daily reports and the People's Court. We go to more stories where tonight former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua allies and political observers have told President William Ruto to move away from campaign-style leadership to tackling or taking concrete action if he is to match the country's third president, Kibaki. Gachagua's allies and critics alike argue that the president needs to climb down from the car rooftops and get busy in the office. A sharp contrast to Kibaki, who kept a low profile and was a performer known for resuscitating the country's economy. Apollo Kamau with details of that.
President William Ruto's popularity now a subject of public debate after last year's Gen Z protests and his unity deal with ODM party leader Raila Odinga. The president's rivals, allied to his former DP Rigathi Gachagua, have laughed off a statement by Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen last week, comparing President Mwai Kibaki's 2005 referendum defeat to last year's Gen Z protests that gave birth to the broad-based government, saying the president has to climb down from the car rooftops and work if he is to match President Mwai Kibaki's track record.
If he wants to own Kibaki and say that he would want to do what Kibaki used to do, Kibaki never went on a roof on car roofs. Kibaki was in the office working, sometimes 5 days in a week. So for President Ruto, I would want to ask him, President Ruto, go back to the office.
The challenges that President Ruto faced are not new. In 2005, Kibaki was the most unpopular person. Everybody was saying, uchumi ni ya watu wachache, haijafika chini, it's not nene. But Kibaki is most celebrated president today.
The criticism comes a week after Kibaki's foot soldiers and bureaucrats marked the second memorial lecture of the former president, drawing comparisons between Kibaki and Ruto's leadership style.
President Kibaki listened and empowered his lieutenants. He was not a micromanager. He reduced taxation across the board and did away with unnecessary and prohibitive laws.
President Mwai Kibaki, remembered for putting the economy back on track when he took over in 2002, was quiet and laid back in running government compared to Ruto, whom critics say runs a one-man show.
Kibaki gave his ministers the autonomy to work. President Ruto controls every other ministry. No decision can be made in any ministry by the CS and his staff without the approval of President Ruto.
In managing their political coalitions after their respective crises, President Kibaki paid the cost in 2007 due to post-election violence, while President Ruto's coalition is facing dissent within ahead of the 2027 polls. The two presidents who ascended to power in their first term in office, backed by widespread public support, have differed sharply on their project's impact, with Kibaki winning on infrastructure and free primary education. President Ruto, on the other hand, has asked Kenyans to be patient and judge him in 2027 on his flagship projects, affordable housing, universal health care, and fixing the economy.
Kibaki didn't talk. He did. Ruto talks a lot, and there's a problem with performance. Very big contrast.
On the taxation front, which made President Ruto hugely unpopular amid questions on misuse of funds, Kibaki did not introduce new taxes, despite inheriting a battered economy. Apollo Kamau, TV 47.